Okay, hi, it's your astrologer from bellatheveofficial.wordpress.com, and I'm making a birth chart reading for Niall Horan from One Direction, and I wanted to make this outside, and it's bright, so I'm sorry if I look stupid or something, but I can't really see what I'm doing. It's really bright here, so anyway, um, okay, so I'm gonna do like a little bit at a time, probably. Um, because I wanted to put some things together that are kind of important to know about. So, for your birth chart, Niall, your sun is in the 12th house, and that's the sun is the ego and identity, and your vitality, and those kinds of things. And the 12th house is all about hidden things and the unconscious, and the house of undoing, like you doing that to yourself. So, and it's a house of spirituality, but not religion. Like, that's a whole separate subject. It's nothing about religion. It's about spirituality, like just about being a person. That's what that's about. Like, and especially with the sun, since that's the ego, has to do with that. You know, not nothing about religion or anything. Just your way of being, like, being a person, figuring out how to be a person. That's what that's about. So anyway, um, with the sun there in the 12th house, it's your true self, which is your ego. It's like hidden from people. It it's um really like a private kind of a way of being, like naturally, like without trying or without wanting to be, or it's not like, oh, that is the, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, it's like hard to know yourself even, and it's hard for other people to get to know your true ego, with this placement. And the sun has to do with power, so all the power and the ego and the whatever else is hidden here, and it can be a difficult placement. And it's undoing, like, you struggle with this placement. And the sun can have to do with the career too. Like, you don't, like, it just, you are naturally hidden this way, but it makes you have like a not wanting to, for people to see you, especially like your ego, like, and your power, and so you hide it, like, from people. And um especially with some other things in your birth chart, like Libra in your birth chart, it gives you really, like, nice personality. Libra is the balance sign, the scales, and like harmony and peace, and wanting to get along with people. So that can get mixed in with that to some. And um because Libra wants to get along with everyone. So you really have a really, like, difficult time with showing your power and your ego to people. And it's the house of undoing, like I said. Like, you struggle with, showing people your power, like owning it. that you're supposed to do. So if you can learn to do that, then that can really help with this placement. But that's what it tends to be like, and it's the house of or the hidden things. So like, especially with the sun there, the sun is light, so it's the house of like the other world, like psychic abilities and whatever else, like the house of like people. One way to explain it is you can't really get a grasp of what the 12th house is about. That's part of what it's about. So with the sun there, you can have a really good ability of being able to see in that other world when people without the sun there can't, because like I said, the sun is light, so it shines the light on that part of you know life, and you can be able to see that when the rest of us can't, and understand what's going on with that part of life. And it's hard to even explain because the 12th house is hard to explain. That is what the 12th house is. I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but that is what it is. Like, it's hard to get a grasp on what it is. Like, if you don't have any planets there or whatever, it's like hard to know what's going on with that part of your personality. But like I said, with the sun there, you can see into that part of life, and get a grasp on what it's all about when the rest of us can't, like about spirituality or psychic abilities or stuff like that. Um, and Let me see. It's what was I gonna say? Uh, yeah, when you're especially growing up, when you're 30 something or 40, it's easier to deal with this placement, like it is with a lot of placements sometimes in the birth chart. Um, but growing up, it, it's it's a placement where like you kind of like try out different personalities, sort of like, because your ego is so hidden that you don't know what it is really, so you try to figure out what it is. That's what that can be like, and but so it's kind of a funny placement where like you can see into the other world, the other realm or whatever, but you have a hard time of knowing like what your ego is and what your power is. And with career things, like it's kind of like a placement where that gives you like the personality of not wanting to like own the right that you have to own your power, and like you want to like hide it because like it feels like you know you're not supposed to like do that with this placement, even though you should. Which, like I said, is when you're 30 or 40, that's when that can get better and you can learn how to do that more. But it's that kind of a feel to it. Like it makes you think that when you're doing natural sun things, like about power and your identity and stuff, like it makes you feel like you're not supposed to with this placement. And but it can be like a deep placement where like there's your power and your ego is in you. It's in, as I'm sure you probably know, it's Virgo. Your sun sign is Virgo. Um, and that's in you naturally, but it's hidden. So like you have to like figure out, where that is in you, show it to people because you're really reluctant to do that with this placement and don't feel like you're supposed to, but you are supposed to though. Um, so um, you have to like make sure you're, not hiding it forever because it can be a difficult placement and can be, uh, like can be stressful, and so you need to make sure you're taking that stress off yourself and showing your ego to people and owning it and showing people what you want about yourself, because that's good to do with this placement. And um I might be forgetting some details that I wanted to mention about this, but um with this uh placement though, I wanted to talk about um fortune. And um your fortune is all about like wherever your fortune is. Fortune is not about money. It's about doing whatever your fortune wants you to do. Like it's in Leo in the 11th house. And then whenever you do this, which I'll explain, you will attract fortune to you, which is people, being around, good fortune in a way that helps your life, like not money or anything, just just help and encouragement and love and like people, just getting on board with what you're all about and wanting to just be there for you about it and like help you out if you need it somehow or just be a part of it. Like if you're doing some group thing or some whatever, like if you're doing what your fortune wants you to do, then people will see that and be attracted to you and want to be around you and do, what you're doing or be what you're all about. So in Leo, it's all about your talents and your creativity. And no matter what that is, how that is for you, whether quirky or not, I mean, cool or like whatever, fun or whatever you think it is, like and whatever it really is actually about, like for you obviously singing and songwriting and all that stuff. You if you like show people your creativity, then you will attract fortune to you. But if you hide it, you're not gonna get fortune to you. You're not gonna get people wanting to be what you're all about, And in Aquarius, uh, the 11th house, that's the Aquarius house that is ruled by Uranus. So it's all about like um an unusual way of doing things or unconventional, like not the normal, boring kind of everyday kind of way people do things or it's innovations and sharing your ideas with people. So you know you can like attract fortune to you that way. Like not being afraid of even like Uranus and the 11th house Aquarius is all about like I said, being unusual, rebellious, and like not the normal kind of whatever. So and even like like I said, quirky kind of things or whatever, like that people think are. But if you own this, people will see that, and then they'll be attracted to you, and that's when you get fortune to you. You know, like if you're afraid to be quirky or whatever kind of word you want to say, rebellious or whatever it is, unusual kind of, that's all what Uranus is about. The 11th house, and so you need to, like just own that and like be proud of it, like show people what you want about that and like your creativity and your talents and whatever, like I said. And um the 11th house is all about groups of people, so you can do that in group settings. It's very, like um the 11th house is fortune in the 11th house would be like where you like don't have to make it work or put effort into it being in groups, like when you're on stage or sharing with people there, like whatever you're writing, songwriting or whatever, or if you have other hobbies and other places. And the 11th house is also the humanitarian house, so if you're into any kind of philanthropy, it can be in that kind of a group setting even. But like I said, you have to make sure you're, sharing your creativity and whatever else, with people and not being afraid of it. Then you'll get fortune attracted to you. Um. So, but like with the sun in the 12th house, though, like that can make it a little bit of a difficult thing since it's your ego. Um. But fortune being where it is can balance that out though. And if you really just own that, Uranus kind of personality, that can probably go a long way with that, uh, you know, difficult placement of your ego being hidden. You know, like don't be afraid to own that and just show people who you are. Because like I said, if you own that, you're gonna get fortune attracted to you. Like people will love that about you. Like people will not think it's weird. They're gonna love that about you, and then they're gonna want to be what you're all about, and be there for you, help you out, or like support you or whatever. That's what fortune is. And also I wanted to talk about Venus. Your moon is your emotions. Whenever you have either a lonely moon or not, or partially, it's the way you react to new situations. And um, the moon is like your nerve. And um, whenever you have your moon, now I forget which house it's in. Ridiculous. It's okay. So anyway, whatever house your moon is in, which I'm gonna put this in another video. There's little bits of information that I'm not putting in this one because I forgot to double check which one it was. I looked at it and then I forgot which one. But it doesn't completely matter which house it's in for what I'm going to explain. But what matters is that the moon is your nerves. So whenever you have planets in the house before or after it, you know, um, whenever, 1 through 12, that's the houses that there are. So your moon's in one of those. So whenever you have planets in the house next, before or after, not the same as it, it's like a shield. It, like whenever your moon is here and then the other planet is here, like say my hand is your moon, this is the shield, the planet, this is what's hitting it. So it hits the shield instead of the moon, so it protects your nerves. So with this placement for you, you have Venus there with the moon, but it's not in the house before or after it, so it's less of a protection, but it still is some. So whenever anything new or stressful or out of the ordinary kind of things happen, the new situation, the stressful, good or bad, just something that surprises you, it's going to hit Venus, but it's going to be less of a shield. It's not going to hit your moon first. It'll hit Venus first, but it's going to be less of a shield for you. So you're going to react somewhat with nerves, but not as bad as if it was without any planet at all with the moon. Anything with the moon, it's just less. But what you're going to react like is Venus. That's love and class and beauty, or if you want to say it that way, or kindness, um, you know, all those kinds of things. Like whenever the new situation, and I've noticed this about you, I think it's very noticeable, and it is with anyone, but like I'm saying, like whenever you can notice this about someone, like I can tell it's Venus because it's love. Like people can tell that about you. It's not like something opposite like Mars, like a nasty comment or anything. Like this is very noticeable, like because you have nothing else with it. It's just Venus. So people really notice this about you, and you react with kindness and some nice comment or some reaction that is calm or nice or whatever, loving, not and with class, like I said. Um, that's an important thing too about Venus. It's class, It's not just love. Um, so you can react in that kind of way instead of getting all hot and bothered and like, I mean, I don't know, like annoyed or too stressed out, whatever. Like you react in such a really Venus way. It's very noticeable. Um, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about in this birth chart reading. But I'm going to do more. But I just wanted to, you know, do a little bit at a time so you can really get what I'm talking about. So basically, I talked about the sun in the 12th house, and I know I am forgetting some things that I wanted to mention, but it's really a good explanation that I think you can really kind of get what it's about. But so sun in the 12th house and your moon placement, which is with Venus, and then um, fortune in Leo in the 11th house. Which Leo, by the way, is ruled by the sun, so that is your ego. So whenever you're doing fortune things, you know, if you do some ego, that's like good. That's not bad. That's what you're supposed to do. You know, whenever you're doing something and you are owning it, and it's about the sun, which is your ego, you're supposed to own your ego. Like let people see it. Like don't be afraid of like having an ego, like having confidence, I mean, and loving yourself, like, don't be afraid of letting people see that about you, because, like I said, with fortune in Leo, that if you do that, then you'll get fortune attracted to you, and that's what you're supposed to do. So that's what this is about. So I'll be doing a few more birth chart readings for you soon. So I hope you like this one. Or I hope anyone that watches this likes this and can comment on it if you want to. So thanks for watching.